All right, so check it out, folks. I don't want to bring the same type of character, different professions, different success, and we do hunt human excellence. I love watching people that are great students, or let's call it, if it was a sports thing, a gym rat. If I go back to high school when I played basketball, the kids that worked out the most and practiced the most tend to perform well on the court. And my next guest, we both have a coach that we share. And within this little circle of who this gentleman coaches, Devin, DiNofa, what's up, brother?
Love it, man.
Is an example of how to be a good player within the David Meltzer system. And he's a great student of David Meltzer, and you could see it not only when I watch him on social media, I've personally been able to connect with him, but I also know what David shares about you as well. And just right before you came on camera, hearing a little bit about your desire to meet David was an incredible story, and I want you to share it with all the entrepreneurs. But I got to tell you how grateful I am that you're here today, excited to see where this journey takes us. And I just want to honor you, brother.
Thank you so much.
And what you've accomplished so far. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and ever since I followed you, man, I just want to give you a shout out. It's been awesome watching you, and you deliver phenomenal content. And man, you're like a bug light to your audience, man. So I want to give you a shout out on that too.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and by the way, beautiful setup. Yeah. Beautiful setup, and you're just a beast on the microphone too, man. So good stuff there.
Thank you so much. And it was funny because I was in Long Beach Island this summer, and Dave's like, "Hey, come meet me in Philadelphia," right? Which was your event, right? Your lunch meeting, right? Yep. We were at a beautiful hotel in Philly, looking over like the whole world, and all of a sudden it was like a bunch of people that came in, which was your community, right?
Yeah.
Part of your program and your coaching system that you've created. Can you talk a little bit about what that is? And then we're going to go into how you met David after that.
Okay, cool. So my coaching community is called the Harvest Performance Growth Community.
Harvest Performance Growth Community. Go check it out, folks.
Yep. On Instagram, it's Harvest Performance Community. But how it started was prior to the pandemic, right? I would do one-on-one coaching. Now, my primary business was real estate.
Yep.
So through my journey in real estate, I started helping people, coach people.
Now, you were coaching though, like even like 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And coaching them on how to sell real estate or peak performance mindset to sell real estate. So it
started off in real estate.
Got it.
When I started finding my gift and producing, and then I would start off by whether it's coaching in the real estate office. And then it kind of went into just other professions.
Amazing.
And then I met Dave, which we'll get into, prior to COVID too. So then I started doing some work with him and some of his people also.
Yep.
This is a while back.
Yep.
So when COVID happened, one of my coaches gave me the idea to open up a community. And this is literally right when COVID happened. And organically, I was like, all right, my passion is coaching.
Yeah.
Right. So how could I do this at a high level to where I can also make it affordable to people? Because listen, man, this is what I've seen outside of corporate training. Right. It's very uncommon that business professionals actually out of their pocket invest in themselves for personal coaching.
100% accurate.
Very uncommon.
100% accurate.
When people would reach out, they'd be like, hey man, I see you posting a lot about coaching. And then when you tell them the investment, it's like, wait, what? Right?
Oh, you thought it was for free.
Yeah. So then when I opened up this community, it was an affordable rate. And then people, literally within a year, we grew it to 100 members.
So hold that thought. So I want you to share whatever secrets you can share versus your intellectual property that you don't want to share. For anyone that's listening that may be scared to do a community, open up and get themselves out there, describe what it means to open a community, because it's on social media, I assume, right?
Yeah.
And like, what were some of the things you did without giving away,
No, I'll lay it all out. So now the good news was prior to that, I did a lot of work building my brand, building my social proof, like having actual results, building relationships. So when I opened up this community, by the way, it started off as a Facebook community. I then, had the idea, I had the framework, and I just started reaching out to people.
Yep.
Right. I just started reaching out and saying, hey, listen, I'm starting a performance coaching community. Boom. And it's all based on personal and professional development. I'm going to coach on different tactics and strategies to grow your business, but also a lot that's going to be going into personal development.
Love it.
So Harvest is a personal and professional performance coaching community.
Because it's all connected, right? It's not
all
just
day.
show up at the front door.
Yeah.
a double-minded mind is unstable in all his ways. You can't not be good in one area and expect it to not affect the other area that you could be good in, right? So if you're making some bad decisions behind the scenes, although you could be a good coach, that's going to kind of affect itself at one point. We call that the tripartite division, a three-legged stool. You need all three, not just one. For us, it's, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, right? So I got to work on the physical, though. But anyway, so with that being said, thank you for sharing that, brother. When you talk about a Facebook community, a lot of people say it, but you actually did it, right? And is there still a place on Facebook for that community?
Oh, yeah. So I have, every member of the Harvest goes into a Facebook community.
Got it.
Where that's where magic happens, man. Everybody is collaborating. Everybody's asking questions. Everybody's posting to motivate each other, sharing wins, helping each other, passing business amongst each other. And then bi-weekly, the cool thing is bi-weekly, I bring in, high-performing entrepreneurs through Dave Meltzer's network and through people that I know just through a decade of investing in myself, investing to be in rooms with people that are just doing, massive, massive things throughout the world.
Awesome.
So bi-weekly, I bring in a guest speaker.
Awesome.
A guest coach. And every month we have a different topic, but every speaker has a specific niche that they're coaching on that either relates to personal development or business.
Got it.
Right? So that's kind of how we lay that out.
And that's happening. Is that you sell real estate during the day, you have a team of realtors that work with you and your company. This is
this is a whole nother
business
company,
for you. That does somebody run it for you day to day? Who finds the guests? What is your time?
No.
How do you break down your day? Or people just reaching out to you and say, hey, can I be on the show?
Yeah. So one, this is kind of this is coming up on year 2. So this is kind of just me. I just kind of run it. Which eventually when we get it to where I want to get it, it'll be I'll have support staff, which I'm bringing in a community manager right now, which is cool.
Replace themselves, folks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's, but I don't want I'm leveraging out as far as the busy work, stuff like that. Sure. But my I still am there. Right?
Yeah. That's all you want to focus on, though.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Nothing
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as far as just my guests, so a lot of people reach out to me to speak to the community, but I'm very specific with who I want to bring. I don't want nobody who's going to try and just come in there and sell stuff. Because you know how that's going to happen. And then the second thing is I want to make sure that they're doing something at a high level.
Yeah.
Right? Not hometown heroes mean they're good in their little community. I want to expose my community to people that are doing stuff at the top level.
Yeah.
Right? And
I love it.
Yeah, just to try and deliver that Fortune 50 CEO, and maybe he's following me. He's like, man, you know what? But Devin's 35. I don't know if necessarily he can really to have this limiting belief. But man, he's bringing in David Meltzer. He's bringing in some of the top entrepreneurs in the world. So I will join just to have access to be able to ask these people questions that he's having in. Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm building my model to where it fits anybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing in such incredible speakers.
And folks, check it out. Listen, he just touched on something where maybe there's some older folks that, a 40-year-old may look at a 30-year-old and have a limiting belief. The truth is when Kobe Bryant won 3 championships in, I want to say 2001, 2, and 3, he was 20, 21, 22, and there was 35-year-old grown men on that same team. Yeah. So I think from a standpoint, it's not about the age. I never even thought of your age until you just actually mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I've had some good interactions with you. Okay, so the event that I went to, what was that?
So in the Harvest, right, we have the main community, then we have what is called the Deep Roots community, which is just the higher level.
These are the major players.
Yeah, these are the people.
These are the local ballers?
Yeah, in the Harvest.
All right.
Yes, these are the next level.
Are these the downtown pound up from the ground up Philly, New Jersey?
You know what I'm saying? These are the people that are doing some stuff, man. Yep. And they're leaders within the Harvest. They're examples. They're doing stuff at a high level. I actually got my boy Justin Deal over there. He's one of our leaders.
How you doing, brother?
By the way, Justin Deal, crazy transformation within 2 years. My man literally lost over 70 pounds. Ooh. Incredibly expanding his business, but on top of that, how tall are you? I don't even know how tall
6'3",
he's 6'4". 6'3", 6'4". He just ran a half marathon.
Don't tell Carolyn about that diet. She's going to be making that.
But yeah, man, just doing incredible stuff. So who you met was our Deep Roots community.
Got it.
Right? So I think there's around, I don't know, maybe around 10, 11 people in there. But that was, we do kind of our own little private lunch or dinner with that community, and that's who you met. So they had access to Dave during a private lunch.
Yeah, what stood out to me was the DNA of that community.
Oh yeah,
it was very open, very friendly, very, it was a really cool experience. And I did take notice of how you positioned everything and what was going on. I thought that was really awesome. And you just touched on Dave Meltzer. I think that when I first met Sean Callaghy, he's one of my business partners.
Okay.
First real business coach I ever had. Okay. Mentor, brother, the whole 9 yards. I had met him. I saw him speak in 2018. And from the time I saw him speak to the time I got my next meeting with him, it took like 6 months. And there was a lot of phone calls. And when you were sharing your story with Carolyn about David, which I want you to tell everybody, share that story, because I thought that was incredible, including, you know, whether you thought he was looking at emails and everything that you were just sharing. I think is incredible. What the first question I have, how did you notice him first? And then what did you say to yourself, you know what, let me reach out to this guy, where a lot of people may think that, but just don't do it.
And
the action steps.
No doubt, man. And this all kind of is the example of the C4 method to become your hero thing that I've been telling you about, right? So this is the coaching part of the C4. So I was, like I said, prior to even meeting Dave, I was doing coaching, but I was like, you know what? Like, I'm all in on this. Like, this is what my passion is.
So you were like a local coach at that point.
Yeah.
You didn't know that there was national. You knew there was a national level, but you just had to find somebody that could get you there.
Dude, the only reason why I kind of even got into personal development was because I needed it for my own business. I stumbled across Eric Thomas like years ago.
No way.
And I listened to his stuff and I was like, man, this is crazy. And then I started going down. I was like, wow, this is actually this is content that I can continue to listen to.
Yes.
And then I realized how much better I was getting mentally, physically, spiritually, and in my business. And then I started learning more about coaching. Then I hired a coach, and then I went down that whole path now that I knew. Because most people don't even think after sports, you can actually still hire a coach, right? Yes. And think about it. When you were performing at your highest level, you had a coach in school.
Yes.
Right. And now, like, I just want to share that with people, because there's a lot of people out there mentally struggling, looking for help. They're trying to do stuff themselves. And just know that you can, the same way that coaches helped you in elementary school, in township sports, in college, in the NFL, you continue that same method when you're out of sports. Hire a coach so you still can continue to operate at your highest levels.
Absolutely.
Right. And that was a huge breakthrough for me. So as I started my coaching journey, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to learn from the best out there. Right. So then I started following the influencers, the coaches, the high level entrepreneurs of the world. And Dave happened to be one of them.
Yeah.
So
you knew right away, like, he was the real deal, just by
honestly,
by checking him out. You actually
just stumbled across his content through somebody that reshared his post.
Got it.
Right. And the thing that really I loved about Dave was I never want to be one dimensional.
Yep.
Right. And there's a lot of people out there that make a lot of money, like the Lambos and stuff like that, but not all of them inside, mentally and spiritually, are also successful.
Yep.
Right. I knew Dave didn't just have the financial and the business success game down. I knew he had the mental game down. And for me, that has everything to do with your foundation.
Yep.
And you can just build a lot higher when you have that down.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's one of the many things that really made me like, that's the guy, because he has this mental game down like no other.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to continue to help me keep growing and keep growing and keep growing.
Yep.
To not be one dimensional. So I'm in bed and I'm laying there with my wife in bed, and I'm just like, you know what? It's 10 o'clock at night. I can't go to sleep. I'm like, let me just rip through and DM some peeps here. Let me just try and shoot my shot to these influencers. Now, what I had prepared, right? I didn't just fanboy them and reach out and say, hey, could I have it? Like, I don't know, who knows what people say, but I was like, one, I have to send him something that's going to show credibility immediately, and I have to do something of value.
Yep.
So at that time,
brilliant.
I had opportunities to get people in front of like conferences, real estate companies. So I said, hey, I would love to get you in front of and speak to real estate offices over here. I love your content. And, you know, I just want to share with you. And I shared a couple magazines that I made, Man of the Year, all these different things, like in the DM, so he can see like, wow, he's not just like, he's actually doing stuff over there too. Then I got a response. I was like, oh, I don't want to curse on here, but I was like, man, he responded. I was like, this is crazy. So I was like, all right, cool. He was like, listen, hit up my assistant. I'm going to be speaking at Scaling Chutzpah in New York. I don't know if I said it right, but it was this Jewish summit with all these super successful Jewish entrepreneurs. And he said, yo, I'm going to be out there in New York this day, this time. Come meet me out there. And I was like, man, this is crazy. I hope that this is actually him.
Yep.
So I was like, all right. I was like, I got my train. And it was just me. But prior to taking that train ride to New York by myself, hoping that it was him, hoping that I would even see him.
You had no idea.
Right? No idea. Just like, whatever, I'm going. Like, it doesn't matter. I was looking up like, all right, what else he has going on? At that time, he was turning 50 years old. He sits on he sits on the board and probably does more for a nonprofit called the Unstoppable Foundation.
Yeah.
And at that year, he was doing 50 for 50 parties. He was hosting 50 birthday parties in 50 different areas to raise money for the Unstoppable Foundation. And in my area, I was very successful throwing networking events. Like that's what I did.
So you were really good at it.
Oh already. Yeah. That's what I did to grow my business and to grow my brand and my influence, which by the way, helped me build influence to get people into the harvest without paid ads, funnels and all that stuff.
The best way to do it.
That was organic.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do too when I see him, right? I'm going to ask him to mentor me and I'm going to, whatever I got to do to just be in this guy's world. And I said, I'm going to tell him I'm going to throw a 50 birthday party for him, right? Yeah. And I went to the summit or the conference and I was sitting there. I was probably the only like Italian guy in that joint, but I was like, whatever. Like I got Jewish partners. So I was like, I can vibe with these guys. Yep. So I was sitting there talking to them. I was in the front. And then, when Dave speaks, you're like crying your eyes out. You don't even know what's going on. You got all these emotions going on. Oh, dude. So then I'm like, all right, so now I got to go wait for him. So I go outside and there's this big ass line. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to wait this out. I was like, well, I ain't leaving until I meet this guy. Yeah. So, I had like a magazine, I like all these things to show him. And so I waited it out, finally got a chance to meet him. And I was like,
when was this? I'm sorry. How many years ago?
Like 5 years ago.
Okay, got it. Yep.
It could be 6 now.
Wow.
So I was like, hoping that he even know who I was. I was like, hey man, listen, I'm Devin, dude. I've been DMing you. I don't even know if you know who I am right now. He's like, no, I know you are. And then
that's cool.
I was like, listen, you're everything you talk about with, your like growing up and different things like that, man, it really struck a chord with me. Your love for your mother, like your vision, your goals, all this stuff. And, I just want to let you know that one, I know that you're raising money for this nonprofit. I would love to throw a 50 birthday party for you in Philly to raise money. And 2, I would love for you to mentor me. And then he was like, gave me his hand. He was like, dude, I'll mentor you. I'll coach you right now.
Wow.
Right. And then, I was like, damn, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So then I was in New York. I called my wife. I was like, you'll never believe this shit. It was like, because to me, man, like, and people are starting to catch on as far as like, these entrepreneurs now, man, like they're becoming famous because they're making real impact in the world. Not just because they're good at a sport. They are changing lives and they're making real impact in the world.
No question about it.
So to me, like I look at these entrepreneurs like, yo, that's my LeBron James. That's my Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's where I'm going after.
Yep.
So it was a crazy moment for me to even have that. But it's like, well, that's just a handshake. So then it's the journey after that. But that's where it all started. That's how I met him. That's what I did to take action to just see the person and just try and get in there. And it didn't matter what happened. Like, that's just whatever. Like, I always knew that I'm going to seek. That's what I always did anyway, was whoever it is that I want to learn from. I'm just trying to grow my network with as many quality high performers as I possibly can. Taking them out to lunch, meeting them wherever they want, just to and learn from them. I didn't go to college, no college degree. I was in restaurant management. So, like my college degree was I get to pick my professors now, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I'm going to pick and choose who I want to learn from.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I did it.
So since you got with David and where you are now, have you followed his coaching path and has your business exploded?
Dude, the crazy thing is business exploded. My brand, right, which most people still don't grasp. They have a brand, right? And every day, depending on what you do, the impact you make, you build unseen equity, right? Meaning that
unseen equity, folks.
Yeah, meaning that you don't know what's going to come from consistently doing good and being on things like this and creating impact and helping and serving. You just don't know. You just enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Right. So now this is what I think people have it twisted, right? They'll go and they'll try and let's just say they coach with you or Dave. They think that, all of a sudden it's like getting hired and you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow because you're coaching with them.
Yep.
Right. There's so much. That's a whole talk in itself.
It is.
How to be a student of the game, how to leverage coaching. But there was, I started with him and then literally my goal was wherever he told me to go and meet, like I went and met people and added value. And Some of them was investments like in masterminds and groups that I just wasn't used to that. I never even knew that world. Right now, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have invested in myself more 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Who knows how much time I could have compressed?
Yes.
And who knows where I'd be now?
Collapsing time, turning decades into days, right?
So that's where like the first event was in New York, right? And that's where the crazy thing was, man, probably one of the leading entrepreneurs that, you know, I don't want to say a lot of people don't know about, but that's where I met Randy Garn.
Wow.
And Randy Garn, dude, he is that guy.
Did you know that I was working with him too?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Randy is the man.
Tell everybody.
Yeah. So it was funny. And this is just how great he is, man. I don't know, man. I was probably one of the youngest guys at this thing. Like I was like a deer in the headlights. Like I didn't even feel like I was worthy to even be in this room. Like there were some incredible entrepreneurs, but I was like, whatever. Like I'm going to be there. Like in my mind, they just don't know it yet.
Yes.
And I just haven't got like my accelerator's going, but I'm just not there yet, but it's going to happen.
Yep.
But I was just, you know, I talked to, Randy was one of the first guys I was like, I shook his hand, said hi to, and he was like, give me all this advice. And then, you know, that was a great weekend, but afterwards I connected with him on social media. And then I started seeing like, wow, dude, this dude is like doing some amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about the highest level entrepreneurs in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's why they call him the coach's coach. Yeah. Like whoever you follow on social that are like the influencer, like he's their advisor.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
And I didn't even know. And I'll give you another crazy thing, right? So guess when my first call in the Harvest, when I started the Harvest, guess who my first speaker was? Randy Garn.
Wow.
Dude, that's how awesome he is.
Wow.
One, I like, come on, dude. Me, I was like, at that moment, it's like he could have been like, dude, like not yet, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
But dude, and let me tell you, and I had,
that is amazing,
dude. So check this out. My first calls were started early in the morning, right? So when I first started the Harvest, the call was, I don't know, maybe 7 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. My dumb ass, I reach out to him. He lives in like, dude, it's like 4 in the morning. Yeah. He was like, he was out. Oh, dude, he's like, man, that's early, buddy. He was like, I'll do it. Yeah. So this guy, Randy Garn, who's like caliber of Tony Robbins, right? This guy woke up at 4. Like my community, like I don't even think a lot of them still grasp who they had access to that day. Yeah. Right. But that's, so when you ask like how to go with Dave, dude, I can't even tell you like the fruits of the labor that are going to come from the relationships. Yeah. Me and Dave are starting a show. Like,
talk about the show if you want.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know what's going on, man. How they could reach out, how they could see it. Like, what does all that look like?
So we're going to start an online segment of a TV show called The Real Deal Real Estate Show. And what we're going to do is we're going to showcase inspirational stories from successful real estate entrepreneurs around the world. Right. And not the $1 million listing to where everybody's just seeing flashy lifestyles, not flip or flop to where everybody's seeing, you know, and the biggest thing when I reached out to my audience, say, what do you want to see? Everybody kept saying the word real, man. We just want the real thing. Yeah. You know, all the rehabbers are watching a flip. Dude, that's bullshit. Like there ain't no way they're doing that profit. You know what I mean? So I just real.
Keep it real.
Yeah.
Keep
right.
It real,
and that's
show.
Me. So I was just like, you know what I want to do? I want to showcase like the immigrant that came to this country that couldn't speak English, it's a non-negotiable. I got to be successful.
Love it.
Building the single mother out in Oklahoma to where I can showcase the culture of that area. Like I want to showcase culture in the world, like around the world and continue to show inspirational stories. So anybody who watches that don't give themselves an excuse why they can't be successful. Yeah. Right. And so you're going to get education. You're going to get inspiration.
And
you're going to be able
if they want to check it out, how would they check it out?
All right. So first, you got to follow me, Devin DiNofa, DEVIN _ DiNofa.
Follow him.
DINOF as in Frank.
Follow him.
Yeah. So, and David Meltzer too, I would follow him because we're going to start off doing an Instagram Live.
Love it.
Right. And then we're going to build it up. And then the goal is to kind of like office hours to do like a full blown, like bring in like the highest caliber real estate entrepreneurs to come in and tell their stories.
So, dude, I mean, you have a wife and kids, right?
Oh yeah.
You want to tell us about, you know, that part of your world, and where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
That's a good question. So yeah, my greatest accomplishment is my wife and kids. So yeah, my wife is actually my partner in my real estate business.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Brittany, that's my wife, and we have 3 kids. We have 3 kids. We have Paige, who's my oldest daughter. She's 5. We have Roman, who is 3, and we have Dominic, who's 1.5.
Who came up with the names Roman and Dominic?
I came up with Roman.
Yep.
Good question. I think
it sounds like you came up with Roman.
Possibly my wife.
I feel like you came up with the name
Roman. But you want to know something?
Yeah.
So
I feel like that was your right.
Dominic, my wife came up with because I wanted to name our kid Sonny. But she said that it would sound like too much of a mafia boss. So she was like, Sonny DiNofa, we cannot have that name. So she went with Dominic.
It's not far off, though. Dominic DiNofa.
Yeah, but anyway.
He sounds like a good hitman. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the family.
So what do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
Oh, man. That's 5 years.
Like you have successes, right? And certain challenges may have come your way, but if you could overcome those challenges, what does it look like 5 years from now? So,
all right. So as far as the harvest, man, I would love in 5 years, I would love to have a community of 1,000 or more people.
Wow.
Right. I would love to, when that time gets, like groom coaches through there.
Yeah.
In my real estate business, we have a target next year to do 100 million. But in 5 years from now, I mean, my residential real estate company doing, multiple hundreds of millions.
Yep.
We're in the process of starting a real estate fund too. So
a real estate fund. What does that mean?
Meaning that, people can invest with us and then we go buy distressed homes.
Does what's his name do that? The 10X dude? Is that like
Grant Cardone?
when you see about those funds? Is that what that is?
Oh yeah.
Is that? But
yes,
is that similar? Is that the mindset though? Like
yes,
people
exactly.
Instead of having to go find the property, you're part of this fund. They put money.
People
in the fund
that have an interest in investing with real estate, they want to make a percentage.
Yeah.
And they want to passively invest where they don't have to do the game. They don't got to find they don't want to.
Do they still get the tax benefits too?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah.
That's that whole fund structure.
Yeah.
Like my partner Gaurav, like he's gonna I got a mentor and partner that's gonna he's already doing it in Philly.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that do that. I mean, listen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's mutual fund. Why can't there be a mutual fund for real estate?
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah. So that's part of your game plan.
Oh yeah, like I got
That's
multiple
awesome.
arms like in the real estate space, and then to grow this real estate show with Dave too, to make it
Yeah, you want that to be.
Oh yeah, big. Anything that I get involved with, man, I say become your like. I always think of just like in sports, like when you're thinking about playing a sport as a kid, your mind don't go to sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Right. When you have that vision, it's like, no, maybe scoring a touchdown, maybe hitting the winning 3-pointer, winning the championship, being on the billboard.
Yeah.
Right. So anything that I have in my mind, like I don't get away from that winning vision of it, that heroic version. So this TV show, I want it to be on every channel possible because I know it will inspire and change lives.
Love it, man. And what about these, people that watch us, check us out that, they may struggle emotionally day to day and they're new as entrepreneurs. How do you coach folks like that that gets in their own way?
All right. So this is great. Because based off of when we first started this conversation, you kind of highlighted, people don't understand that when you put personal development before business development, it's game over. Right? You can just operate at a much higher level than you could have ever imagined. You have more energy, you have a positive mindset, you have more positivity, you attract, it just is what it is, man. You because you feel better, you promote yourself better, you market better, So the first thing to make this very easy, the first thing that I would do is find a way to moat your mindset. And I'll give you an example.
Moat your mindset.
Moat your mindset. Build a moat around your mind to protect it, right?
Yep.
And you got to think about what you're putting in your mind every day. Are you watching the news, right? When you wake up every day? It can be so in detail. What music are you listening to?
Yeah.
If you're listening to headbanging music, or if you listen to this type of music that gets your mindset thinking about different things, that could be affecting you. What's your environment look like?
Yeah.
So what you feed your mind, listen to positive content.
Excellent
right?
point. Yep.
When you wake up, have some type of visualization. Start deep diving into faith. I'm a big spiritual guy. I feel, I believe in God. He has everything to do with what I'm doing in my life. But maybe you're not at that level yet. Maybe you believe in the universe or some other higher power. Start tapping into a higher power to give you faith, because there are going to be certain times in your life that your friend, your coach, your mom, your dad, people here will not be able to get you through. You need some type of higher power faith, and you need to take it seriously, because that's going to help get you through certain things that people here, right? I think it's like vertical solutions for horizontal problems, right? That is a big deal. And that's what's really helped me. So you got to find a way to moat your mindset, start deep diving into personal development, exercise, immediately start working, start putting into your lifestyle active activity, right? And if you're like, man, I don't want to go to the gym, it's too overwhelming, don't get you started, go for a walk. Start doing something to get your energy levels up. Whether it's start small, start with a walk, right? Yoga, whatever it is, because your endorphins will start firing up and you're just setting yourself up for a positive day. You're creating, you're setting up your mindset for the day. You're not letting your mindset set you up for whatever you're putting into it, whether it's the news, negativity, and all that stuff.
Listen, Devin DiNofa, he's the next one, folks. You heard it there. You heard everything he just said for the last 2.5 minutes. That is a commercial of all commercials. Love the mic drop moment. There was probably like 5 or 6 of them, but if you work on yourself before you work on the business will multiply even faster than you could possibly imagine, right? So at the end of the day, when it comes down to understanding who you are, what your core values are, what your goals and objectives are, being able to put that on paper, structure that out. Most importantly, who's your top 5, who you're surrounding yourself with, and how can you help connect those dots to bring it into the real world so you can manifest and live the life that you want to live. Brother, thank you so much for being 100%. On the show. I appreciate it.
This was awesome. Thank you for the opportunity, brother.
And one last time, tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so my Instagram, Devin DiNofa, DEVIN_DINOF as in Frank A, or you can email me, devin@devindinofa.com.
Yes, Devin's in the house, folks.
Facebook, so much, Devin DiNofa. LinkedIn, Devin DiNofa. I just go by the name.
Call him.